Okay, so we're on the bottom of Nun Hey Amud Aleph in Avodah Zarah. We have a new Mishnah, and here we're going to talk for the rest of the Masechta. And how many more daf do we have? We have we still have. For the rest, not for the rest of all of the rest of Masechta, or for the rest of the. Really for the rest of the Masechta, we're going to learn the halachas of stam yenam and yain nesech, of kosher and non-kosher wine, which we touched on briefly in previous dapim, and now we're going to really go much more in depth. So loichem gaspa uta mina akma fal pishu noitel biyadei noisen l'sepuach einoi oisa yain nesech ad she yored labor mashabor aser v'shar mutter. So basically the question is, what point does wine become yain nesech? Essentially, to be 100% honest, this is a very clear indication that grape juice that is made and pasteurized before any human hands touch it is me'ikar hadin from the actual law. The main law should be kosher. However, I still feel a machmer tavel of bracha, particularly when one has opportunity, and it's not that hard to get. In most of America, you can get kosher grape juice in most places, and kosher wine, even if it's inferior. And one should be strict when possible to only use wine and grape juice that has a good, reliable hechsher on it. However, and now Welch's itself, they make their own with a good hechsher. You can get, they have two different runs. So they have the Welch's, that's the Manischewitz run, I believe, and it's not only OU, it has a Hamisha Hashkach on it also. So that's a wonderful thing. But this being said, Me'ikar Hadin, from the actual halacha, there is room what to say that if you can ascertain that no human hands touched the bottle before it was pasteurized, that maybe it should Me'ikar Hadin at least be mutter b'hanoah, that you could buy and sell it, even if it's not something you would drink. So loichen gas ba'uta mina akum. Oh, we read this already. You're allowed to buy. I'm not saying you're allowed to drink it. You're allowed to buy a threshing floor of a vintage barrel that was crushed with wine and grapes crushed in it from a pagan, even though the pagan took the grapes with his hands and put the grapes into an apple. I'm not sure what this means, an apple. It doesn't become yain nesech, doesn't become non-kosher wine that was offered as a libation until it fell into the barrel. Meaning, this is the threshing floor where it's crushed, and then from there it goes into the barrel. Until it comes to the barrel, it's not really wine. Yard labor mashabor aser v'shar mutter. Once it went into it starts to go into the barrel, into the pit where it's collected that which is in that pit is prohibited, and the rest is permitted, even to drink. Darchim and akum bagas, you're allowed to crush grapes together with a pagan in the pressing floor, because he's not touching with his hands. Touching with they don't make nesech with their feet. However, you don't cut the grapes with him, because there's issues. Tumah, we're going to see, the Gemara is going to go into this in depth. A Jew who makes his fruit in impurity, you don't crush the fruit or pick them with him, because he's going to make truma temeya, right? Aval malichin, but you could carry with him chavius barrels lagas to the pressing floor, mavianim women a gas, and take it back from the pressing floor. Nachtam. The whole issue we're basically discussing here is: are you helping someone else commit a sin? Nachtam shu'aisa b'tumah. The same thing, a baker. I didn't translate it exactly right. I got to work on this a little bit, but the Gemara is going to go a little bit deeper. A baker who makes impure dough. Again, it's an issue of challah. This doesn't apply today. We're talking in ancient times when you give the challah to the kohen. You don't need the dough or with him. But you could bring it to the baker to bake it with him, meaning the one who's kneading the dough, right? Remember, Abbott Costello, he said, my father was a loafer, right? And he's like, he belonged to the loafers union. He's like, well, you need to join a union for loafing. He's like, I'm loafing right here. Like, no, not that type of loafing. I mean a real loafer. So we're talking about a loafer. And in the loafers union. So, and you can bring it to the baker, right? So, Gemara says, so, when you make dough, you have to give challah to the kohen. Nowadays, everything's in tumah, so we burn it, but, some Rav Huna said like this: Yain kevin sheschale himashich oisen yain nesech. So wine, Rav Huna says, what point? And so here Rav Huna is indicating that no, even the Welch's grape juice most likely is not kosher, and that's why we're machmir. And we have already from Rav Huna, even though nobody touched it, that once wine starts to fall down in the threshing floor before it goes to the pit, it's already considered wine, and then even before it enters, let's say it's going down the tube, down the slide to none. Our Mishnah says, "Loichem gas ba'utam in ha'akum afal pishin notl biyadav v'nasin shnotl biyadav v'naisin l'tapuach." So, but our Mishnah seems to indicate that no, it's not wine until it enters into the pit, the well, where it's gathered. After it's leaves. Amar of Huna b'gas pchuka malaya. So Rav Huna says the Mishnah is talking about a threshing floor, the crushing floor, where it's open, the pipe is open, and it's full of grapes. So then the wine doesn't start to move. What he's talking about is where it's not full of grapes, and the wine starts moving because it's on an incline, and it already becomes liquid. That's two different issues. So Tashma, listen to this. Doesn't become yain nesech non-kosher wine that was offered as a libation until it falls into the bore, into the pit. Hachanami, gas pekuka malaya. Same thing. It's only where it's full of grapes and the pipe is open. Tashma. So listen to this. The Mishnah continues. Yar lavor mashvar asav ashar muter. If it went into the pit, what's in the pit is prohibited, and the rest is kosher. Amar Rav Huna. So Rav Huna said like kasha. Kan b'mishnah rishoyna, kan b'mishnah achrayna. So Rav Huna said no. This is the first Mishnah. This is the last Mishnah. What does it mean? The Sanya. One's teaching is in the old days, and one teaching today. That the Tana changed his mind. He realized things that the situation changed. It's not set in stone. It's whatever the actual situation is, right? The Sanya, because we learned in Bryce, Badad. They used to say Badad, boats for Dorchen v'Dorchen. You collect the grapes and the vintage, and you crush them, twice. Ein boats in ma'akam b'gas. You're not allowed to go collect fruit together with a pagan to be brought into the threshing floor, because you do not cause unconsecrated fruits in the Holy Land to be defiled, because it's going to make an issue of when you're making truma. When Derchen Yisrael Paris of Bitumen. So too, you don't, even with a Jew, if he's not careful in Tumah Tahara, you don't crush the grapes with him. Also, you're not allowed to help someone who's sinning, because you're gonna wind up doing the same thing. But you can crush the grapes with the pagan in the crushing floor, because you're not helping him do a sin. The Rav Huna. We're not worried about Rav Huna's opinion. Debad or debav. Darchen boatsrin uvotsrin. You crush it and then you collect. In darchim and akum gas. Therefore, you don't crush the in the second case. You don't crush the grapes with the pagan in the. And again, this is all talking about Eretz Yisrael, because the issues of Tum and Tara, not really kashrus. In the threshing floor, in the crushing floor, Mishum the Rav Huna, because of Rav Huna's worry. Ve'ein botzrin em Yisrael shoyes persa b'tumah. You don't crush with the Jew who makes his produce, his fruits in tumah. V'chol shekein ein darchen, all the more so you don't crush the fruits of botzrim akum begas. But you can collect the fruits with the pagan in the crushing floor, into the crushing floor, because you are allowed to have unconsecrated fruits become tamei in Eretz Yisrael, but you're not making it yain nesech, non-kosher wine, until it goes into the pit. This is a short Amud, but we're going to end here and we'll make a separate video. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. All the best. Thank you.